We are here on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, where the 38th edition of the NCAA Division III Women's Cross Country Championship recently concluded at the Lake Breeze Golf Club in Winneconne. Today's champions are both from Washington University and St. Louis, as the Bears won their second team title, and Paige Lawler the school's first individual crown. Joining us for our post-championship press conference are head coach Jeff Stiles and student-athlete Paige Lawler. Coach Stiles, first of all, congratulations on winning the national title. Can you just take us through the past week, regional, running in the snow and Colfax, how you prepared this week, and ultimately winning the national championship?
Yeah. Well, preparation starts in June. So these kids do it by themselves and are all self-driven. And by the time you get to campus, half the season has really been accomplished. So credit to them. But yeah, going through this last week, regionals couldn't have been a better preparation because today was great weather-wise for us. It was a large improvement. So I think mentally we were ready. We were war-tested. We knew last week we woke up for our shakeout run. The wind chill was 0. And this week we woke up, it was 22. So, I mean, really mentally, I think our kids are tough. We pride ourselves on being gritty. We talk about that, and I think they demonstrated that today.
With the decision being by 1 point, were you nervous at any one point thinking?
I mean, we're just, the whole time, you don't have a clue what the exact total is. I knew what we were doing. I knew Hopkins was winning from the beginning. I knew what we could do, and I was paying attention to each kid. I'm like, wow, we are running really well. With 400 to go, I told Molly Shepard, who was our fifth, you're our fifth, we can win this. And I didn't even know how close it was. And at that moment, I saw her just take off, and she had the race of our life. She actually had never been in our top 7 the entire year. Her highest finish was 8th due to an injury. We put her in, and she had some senior magic and ran with her heart.
And even though the student athletes change from year to year and being here in the past, and you're very familiar with the course at Lake Breeze Golf Club, what is the message you send to your student athletes each year saying, you know, we were here earlier this year, we've been here in the past, we've had success here in the past. How does that group, knowing you have a different group of student athletes for all those years?
Every year is a new year. Every year is a new team. Every year the dynamic's different. Even if you have returners, their life is different. The challenges they're having, whether it be preparing for grad school or have a breakup or get a B for some of these kids, is a big deal. These kids are incredible. They're positive outliers. They are very unique in many wonderful ways. So our message is always, let's try and be our best. And you never have a clue what that's going to be. On the men's side today, we ran great. North Central scored 43 points. Tip your cap to that. You know, I think that may be the second lowest in the history. So for us, we're coming in each year just trying to be the best team we could be. And when you don't run against each other, it's impossible to know where you stack up. I knew from looking at it coming in, I knew we had a good team. I really didn't know how we stood up against Hopkins. I had people telling me certain things. They had their own opinions. I'm like, I knew what we could do at the national meet individually, and we did that today. I thought what we did today was best case scenario, and that happened to be good enough for a 1-point win. And credit to Johns Hopkins. They have an incredible program, and for them, a 1-point loss is apparently a disappointment, and that's an amazing testament to Bobby Van Allen and his program that he's developed. But for us, it's about being our best, each kid doing the best they can with what they got where they're at, and that's what they did all year. The kids who raced and didn't, and you saw that in full effect we had 150 alumni and athletes, parents, you know, here today, probably about 150. And that's just an amazing testament to being a part of something bigger than yourself.
Paige, congratulations. And can you take us through the race? And you took the lead for good around the 3/4 mark of the race. Can you just tell us your approach and from maybe start and then until you finally passed the runners there to secure the victory down the stretch?
Well, I guess the plan going in was just to get out a little harder, to get in a position that would I guess put me in a position to be able to move up throughout the race. But beyond that, I didn't really think about it that much. I guess we always race, like, try to position ourselves in a good spot and then move up throughout the race, and that's how we train and that's how we race. So I didn't have to think about it too much or overthink it, and it just like comes the second half. You use the energy of all the girls that I knew were out there running with me and everyone on the sides.
How was the course?
It was great compared to the last time we ran it. It was super muddy then, but it's a great course, and I think from my perspective, it seems like you guys do a really good job of like making everything perfect, making changes so that it's the best it can be for us to run on, and having everything we need like right there and accessible. So it was a really great experience this whole weekend.
Was there a point on the stretch you thought you had it, or was it until you got to the finish line?
I not really. I don't know. I kicked as hard as I possibly could the last 400 because I didn't know where anyone else was, and you never really have it in the bag till it's over. So, no.
Jeff, could you just comment on the group of student athletes you have? Obviously, you've had incredible runs since you've been named head coach there at Wash U, and especially your two other runners who finished in the top 10, and Allie and Sophie.
What was, sorry, about them? Just,
Comment about them as well.
yeah, I mean, Allie
seniors.
Wayne, yeah, sure. Allie Wayne, her first race, her first year was her sophomore year. She wasn't on the team until then. So she came back for a 5th year. And she, quite honestly, had been a little frustrated just with injury or whatever, not quite clicking. And, you know, today she was 7th. Last weekend, she was 7th at the regional. That's incredible. Sophie Watterson, you know, last year was 41st, and today came in 13th. And the way she raced, I mean, she's one of the best textbook racers I know. And they just ran incredible. I mean, they ran up front. And I didn't really talk to the team about it, but I know for us, if we were going to have a chance to win, we were going to have to beat Hopkins up front. And we did. And that's really was the recipe, was to beat them up front and close the door at the 5th. And so Allie and Sophie really just did an amazing job and executed their race better than I could have asked.